What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? It's the Black Man Unfiltered Network. It's the one-on-one sports show. I'm Dante.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee.
And man, it's holidays are near. Sports is going crazy. Got a lot going on. It was National Signing Day today. I know I was working, but it was kind of, I don't know, man. It's kind of took some of the steam out with the early signing day. Already take some of it out in February, because in February, I want to say usually the Super Bowl is either near, and then you literally have all this build up because the college season is over. You know, the champ's been reigned, and now with the early one, it's just like, and I want to say one of the recruiting guys was talking about it like, man, if you want to have your ceremony with all the hats and everything, schools are closed. Everybody out of school.
Yeah.
And some players have been out for weeks, even though like some guys, they just won state, and then depending on your state size, your state might have been a couple of weeks. It's weird that they have it like that, but it's one of those deals to where it is what it is, and everybody's kind of getting adjusted to it.
Yeah, I was just looking at the states. Here in Texas, most of our high school football season is over, but now it's just so much different divisions now. Divisions, we already had, when I was in school, class 5A was the highest. Now it's 6A, but then you got 6A Division 1, 2. Same thing with all the other the classes below. So, and the special thing about here in DFW, we had both class 6A, and then actually two class 5A schools. We had four schools in the DFW area alone, and actually five that all won state. So you had South Oak Cliff, DeSoto, Duncanville. And I think Duncanville and DeSoto used to be in the same class. They
No,
not in they're in the same
they're in the same
uh
district.
yeah, same district, but now they're in two different divisions.
Yeah,
So they both won state now. But it's not really surprising because if you look at the alignment now, it's all kind of wacky. Basically, schools they be getting some bus mileage now. And
yeah.
then it was South Oak Cliff, DeSoto, Duncanville, Alito, and and Gunther, Gunner, whatever, up there in North, like up there by Salina and all that.
They count
So
that as a metroplex. I be forgetting what
yeah,
I I be
they up
forgetting
there
what
by they up there Sherman,
about
but they
Sherman.
count that as a metroplex. Yeah, like 'cause they doing North Texas. I think they
Yeah,
North Texas. So they was representing them on the local news. They was representing them as one of the five North Texas schools that won state this past weekend. So they represented deep up here. The big one, Duncanville, finally got over the big
beating.
hurdle.
Yeah, and it's
So
and it's crazy because now you can actually, if you from Duncanville, you can be honest about it. You can say, you know what, the 18 Hail Mary, that's luck. 19 quarterback tore his knee. It was straight up in 20. The one time. So basically, only two times they played, it's kind of been straight up, and those are 1-1. But I mean, all in said, you 1-3 against them, but it's one of those deals. Both of those teams put a lot of people in college
I
at
think
the high level.
this past year, North Shore, they lost their starting quarterback, so they was
Uh,
playing with a receiver who converted. That's why they said, I couldn't, for whatever I can't watch the local games here. But they said that it was a receiver who converted over to QB. And I think if you look at the box score, the dude ran like over 30 times. All he was doing is
yeah.
running because they had, they quarterback was out. I remember last year I think was ugly for the Duncanville, but it would have been uglier if North Shore's 4 or 5 star running back played, but he didn't play because he got in trouble on the bus on the way to state.
Oh
So
wait,
they
that's
kicked him out.
I
That
remember
was
that.
Zach Evans.
That was Zach Evans a few years back, and it was like he he ended up being a flaky guy, and like what I heard about it since I was at the stadium, I heard from someone they was just like, look, they saying it was something. What it was is they caught him drinking at the hotel. And so I was like, oh, that's not good. And that's, that now sure enough, that's hearsay, because there was someone, things get around. But
You talking
what
about
I
the
would,
why he got
yeah,
suspended for the state game?
yeah.
Oh no, he got suspended for the state game because he broke a team rule. On the team rule, they had no cell phones was allowed on the bus to the
Oh,
game,
okay.
and he he was I guess he was a high school star back, or he was a 4 or 5 star recruit,
Yeah, he
so
was
he
a
was
five
highly
star.
covered. Yeah,
He was, he was,
so yeah, he had a phone. One of the coaches told him, "Hey, this is team rule. Put that phone up. Give me your phone." He denied. He said no and started going back and forth with the coach until the head coach said, "Okay, man, you're not playing the state." So that's why. And at the time, I forgot who he originally. Because if you remember, after the game, uh, it took him a long time to sign
yeah,
with a university. That he had too much going on
it was.
before ultimately going to TCU.
Yeah, he seemed real flaky because originally,
Yeah.
basically, guys like that, especially being from the Houston area, that's very heavily A&M. I didn't realize how heavily A&M Houston was,
Oh
and
yeah.
and the towns around it is heavily Houston based. Well, if you don't go there, then Texas is the next big one. And it was one of those as a roots with Texas. I was like, that's one Texas has to get. And then the more I heard about him, I was like, seems flaky. Then Georgia has been coming up and always is a running back. You talk about CB, DBU and all this. Georgia is running back you. And
Hmm.
so, or one of them. And so I'm thinking, oh, Georgia gonna get him. And then it was like he was supposed to go to Georgia, and then it didn't happen. Then when I heard the off the field stuff, like that's the that I've heard that story before. I've heard the drinking story. So it just seemed like it was a little bit of character, little character stuff.
Yeah.
Not enough that you're not gonna go. But he was still the highest recruit that TCU ever got. He was there and then transfer portal. He went to Ole Miss, and I don't know if he declared pro or not, but he's an outstanding back. I wonder what he could do. I would go pro if I was him, just because at TCU they wouldn't let him be the stable back. They were like, "Hey, we got backs. We're gonna rotate them in and out." Guys like that are fresher. I think he should go pro, and then you have more tread on your tires. Because I wouldn't want my son to play running back because of the way the position is treated. But if he did, I would have him probably be an early enrollee if he wanted to be, or just go, because running back is more of a natural position. Go to school, finish the rest of your high school years out, and then go to a school where a back is either headed to pro or is lead back. Don't go and get all the carries. Like I think
Hmm.
about Jonathan Gray from Alito, and like man, they gave him so many carries at Alito. He was the best guy they ever saw. He got what he get 10,000. Went to Texas, didn't do exactly what he wanted, and I'm not sure if he got a shot in the pros. You don't want to burn the guy out. Now, now true enough, even though some of those 10K he wasn't playing fourth quarters, you still getting hits, and it happens. We're seeing it with Zeke right now.
Yeah, that's why running backs down the league, it's so hard for them to get a big time contract just because teams don't want to play. Right now, Cowboys, they took the bait when Elliott, I won't say demanded, but basically did, because he got a new contract and extension and whatnot before his current one was even up, and you kind of see how that gone. I won't, and I believe pretty much next season he's gonna probably take a pay cut. So a lot of time running backs, they just, you kind of gotta save as much of your body as you can going up the ranks from college, well, really from high school now, like you were saying,
Yeah.
because a lot of high schools are heavy run dominant, especially if you're a real good running back. They just keep giving you the ball, the ball, the ball, the ball, the ball, and you stacking up yards, but it's like the tread on your body just going down and down and down.
Don't,
Yeah,
don't be so
you'll build your body up a little bit more in college, because you start getting on a better weight program and eating program and all that. Kind of reset it. But if you got any type of real damage, from just a heavy usage, yeah, you'll see it in college, and then you'll definitely see it in the pros, and that's why
no.
It just they don't get the money like they really want, and you know, so
And speaking of running backs, before I give my condolences to Franco Harris, the Steeler great, but I want to mention something about wear and tear on bodies. And sometimes I know we catch a lot of flack in today's NBA for guys sitting out, and it's related. I'll say this: as far as running back and being the best somebody's ever seen and getting tread on your tires, I read a story on ESPN that we got to do a topic on one day. Some of the reason for this load management is because, when these guys get to the league, this is their first time playing 82 games. What's going on, Poppy? But it's also the fact that in these AAU circuits, I looked up how many games my brother plays. He ain't on no big circuit like that, but they do play a lot of games. You playing 30 with your team before playoffs, around 30. Then you're playing the AAU. It starts like they went pretty deep in the playoffs. 2 weeks later, end of March, season AAU starting. And then this is like, dang, so they starting there. You playing tournaments, you playing sometimes back-to-backs, in the game, you playing a couple of games in a couple of hours. And it's just like, these guys are wearing their bodies out, almost like a running back. And that's why you get the Zions, and even his parents did it. They pulled him out of some tournaments because since LeBron, you can blame him or credit him for a lot of things. Since him, they have increased the money that they're making off of amateurs basketball. They really have increased it, and it's a dangerous trend. I read in a story. I'm gonna have to pull it up when we do that story. A 9-year-old with a torn ACL. That's something you're not supposed to see. He's playing too much basketball, playing way too much basketball. And so, but speaking of running backs being the workhorse and guys like that, man, Franco Harris, I got the news this morning on the notification from ESPN. If you just go off his accolades, obviously, the Steelers are a great franchise. He was a 9-time Pro Bowler. He was an all-decade team, which if you want to know the significance, if you're an all-decade team, that's your ticket to the Hall because you were the best in that era. Mr. Bennett, perfect timing. The guy was amazing. I didn't get to see him play, obviously, but if you watch football, you saw the immaculate reception. You've seen that. You've seen that he was a 4-time Super Bowl champ. What was it? Man of the Year. So which means your character and your play is right. Yep. It's just sad to see a guy with the Steelers all-time leading rusher and just an amazing guy. So it's just like, man, one of the greats. And I was ignorant. My friend was like, he's a Raiders fan. He was like, man, he would die the week we played him and they're celebrating immaculate reception. I was like, bro, you think these 25-year-olds know who he is? And I had to apologize to him. The tight end for the Steelers was like, he introduced me when I got drafted. And I was like, oh, snap. I was wrong. And I was like, my bad, bro. Yeah, they are going to know him. They are going to remember. Because sometimes you hear the younger guys and it's like, I don't know him. But I forgot on the second rounds and some of the other rounds, you have the former greats introducing people, like the great clip from Drew Pearson. I love that clip. Mm. When he was going off on the Eagles fans. But Mr. Bennett, if you want to give your take on it, man.
Nah, it's just it was a bit of a surprise. Given his because they announced that they were going to retire his jersey. And there've only been 2 Steelers jerseys that are retired. They're not like that. Dallas, y'all going to run out of space in that stadium because y'all retire everyone's jersey every other year or something like that.
That may be why they won't put Jimmy up there. Yeah. I got no space.
But there's only 2 Steelers jerseys that were ever retired. That was Ernie Startner's, who's this player from the 50s. I don't even know who he was, and Joe Green. Everyone else's number is sort of unofficially retired. So they announced back in September they were going to retire his jersey. And then you found out that, Football Life is dropping this Friday, an episode featuring Franco Harris. And then just given literally almost to the day, one day after the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, the Raiders are playing. And I was just, reached out to Tommy B. It's like, hey, we still got a heartbeat. We're not eliminated from the playoffs yet. So I was thinking just all the stars were lining up for another classic game, and it wouldn't surprise me if some trick play or something like that ends the game like the last one. But I initially I thought that he might have been ill, and they were just sort of preparing for that. But what I didn't know, I was listening to Mad Dog Russo earlier, who interviewed him yesterday at 3:30. Mm-hmm. And I heard the interview, he sounded good, on the interview and everything. And so this was, clearly unexpected. So it's going to be pretty interesting just watching that game on Saturday, just with all the emotions of it and whatnot, and see how it affects the performance of the players. But you definitely got to take a pause. I mean, the Steelers were I became a Steelers fan in 1978, Super Bowl 13. That was really like my first foray into watching football. And back then, you really only had 3 channels to watch football. You had Monday Night Football, and then you had channel the AFC games were on NBC, and the NFC games were on CBS. So it's not like you have today with all the channels. So the Steelers were stable, and the Steelers were playing. Didn't matter who they were playing. It was them or the Cowboys. They were the superstars of sports, quite frankly, at that point. And then when you consider just those games, that Super Bowl 13, you had something like 18 Hall of Famers on one field. I mean, that is just, you just don't see that happening every day when you have that kind of talent on. So it was just a great era, to follow the team in. And the more I learned about him he's from New Jersey, Cherry Hill, which is south of me here, and just learning about his history. There was a documentary that came out on him a while ago. It was like it's very hard to find. I really learned a lot about him at that time, but it always seemed like a class guy. Loved the Steelers. He's probably the biggest cheerleader the Steelers had. Anytime he started a game, he'd wave his terrible towel, and so he was just he's just one of those guys. He just enjoyed everything about what football gave him, and just being part of the Steelers still and the city. And you're right, a lot of those players, NFL, they've gotten really good at making sure that the vets, the OGs, are really incorporated into all the draft and everything else. You have a lot of the older players who go out and introduce players and whatnot. He would always get excited about that. And I remember that he came out and he introduced Kenny Pickett. And when he introduced him, he's like, "Man, I love this," because he knew Kenny from playing at Pitt. So, so again, very, very much involved, and definitely will be missed. But again, a great back, and he wasn't the flashiest guy. He was lunch bucket. He wasn't the power guy, nor was he the speed guy. But somehow he got it done. He had those quick feet, and he kind of got it done. He was always criticized for running out of bounds to protect himself from those hits. And he said that definitely prolonged his career. So he got a lot of flack for that back in the day. But again, class guy. And again, so it's going to be pretty eerie what the emotions are going to be on Saturday. But definitely good man from everything I've seen and read, and definitely a major cog in that team, and that play. Literally like launched the Steelers. I mean, obviously they had the draft picks coming in and everything, but you can almost point to that singular play that just flipped the fortunes of that franchise and that city and everything that came after it. So yeah, it was just, like I said, it's eerie. It's the feeling that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, I heard the news. When did it come out? It came out early this morning.
Yeah, it was this morning.
Right when I woke up, and I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh damn! I saw that, and then also in baseball, the baseball news that just popped up.
Yeah,
like, damn man, that's some news to wake up to.
Yeah, but it's just weird because just even personally, just to remind you again, you just don't know our days, and like I do personally, some good brothers in my age bracket, who are just no longer with me. I had to go to 2 funerals just this past month for guys who just it just shouldn't have been then, but unfortunately it was. So just all the more so, especially around the holidays. We talk about the depression that sometimes happens around the holidays. People lose people close to them, but it's just another reminder. You better give people their flowers while they're here. People you haven't reached out to a while, just say, "Hey, bro, what's up? Just thinking about you," or whatever. You just got to be intentional about stuff, because you just never know when that's going to be your last. And so it's just outside of sports. I know it's a sports show, but it's just another reminder that we need to let people know that hey, you mattered, and I want to tell you how important you were at your funeral. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he was only 72 years old.
72, which is
he was still young looking.
Yeah.
So you really couldn't. You didn't know he had anything going on.
I mean, I honestly, I thought he looked a little bit weaker. But nothing I would say that was like, you would just go just like that. That's
Yeah.
why initially, until I heard about that Mad Dog interview, like I said, I thought, well, maybe he knew something was terminal or whatever, and that's why they were doing the retirement. Because, like I said, that's not something the Steelers do. They don't retire jerseys. So I thought, okay, well, this might have been something that they might have knew was coming, and they just wanted to do it before he passed. But when I heard about the interview this yesterday, then I'm thinking, well, maybe it just wasn't those things that he just went.
I don't think they came out with the details of what happened, but
that's really tough because, like you said, that's the first. Unfortunately, like you were saying, Mr. Ben, that's the first thing I think of when it's another brother. I'm like, dang, he was young, he was this, and at 72. I mean, obviously he had been around a while, but it's still like the average. It's still a little bit below average. Now what I
yeah, you're right.
From the standpoint of being an NFL player, it does take toll off your body. But he was a guy, like when you mentioned going out of bounds, first thing I thought about was the conversation in the interview I heard Tony Dorsett have with his friend Earl Campbell. And it's just like, he was like, hey, I go out of bounds. And it's like, bro, it helped him be healthier. Now, true enough, he still got, some elements from football as well. But still, when you see Earl Campbell walk, it just makes you think like, do I want to let my son play football?
Yeah. And I was it's interesting, as much as I was a diehard Steeler fan, I love the Oilers. I mean, that Love You Blue period with Earl and that stadium and the song and all that. I love, if it wasn't the Steelers, like we played them in back-to-back AFC championship games, 78, 79 to go to the Super Bowl. And I would have been like happy for the Oilers if they would have beat us. I wanted no one else to beat us. I mean, I loved Earl. And that bruising style of his, and he was giving it as much as he was taking it.
It was a fan favorite.
The Tyler Rose, man.
Yeah.
His style was a fan favorite.
And you never saw a player that looked like him. Like, he had legs on him, like that were like gigantic. Like running backs, you didn't see guys with those kind of that kind of body. But his lower half of his body, his legs were like 30 inches. And he, but he was fast. I mean, that famous play against Miami, he runs to 80 yards for the touchdown. It's like nobody could catch him when he got into the open. So, but you're right. But then you saw him like when he went to New Orleans, you knew it was pretty much over at that point. So he had really 5 years of prime play before he was out of football. So yeah. And then you heard about all the health problems that he had, post his playing career. So yeah, I mean that kind of bruising, and we've seen backs like that. Remember Christian Okoye from way back in the day. You guys might have been too young. The Nigerian Nightmare.
I remember him.
He didn't know any way to run but straight ahead. That was it. He was the biggest, 260 pounds or whatever. He knew one way, and that was. But again, he only had that 2 or 3 year burst. And his career was over also. So again, there's something to be said for, play smart and be there for your team when they need you. So yeah, it's Franco, he was not shy about how we played the game.
Man, that's crazy when you think about guys like that are so powerful, and just the way I played with football, like little Pop Warner or Little League in like the 90s, and up until when I went to high school in the 2000s, throwing the ball a lot was thought of as soft. And but what it really was I need a way to make up for. I was a bigger lineman, but the rest of my linemen wasn't as big as me. So hey man, we're gonna run shotgun. We're getting at times we're gonna run no huddle. We're gonna run the wristband, and that's a way to change it and to extend player. It really extends player shelf life sometimes when you rotate the backs, but it also gives an advantage of, and Saban figured that out. You got those big old linemen. I got smaller linemen, or I got big linemen too, but we weighing on you. You need the rotation. I'm hurrying you up, and I'm throwing it more, and it's just kind of like the way things change. But those guys from the era of like you said, the Christian Okoyes and the Earl Campbells, or even in a more modern era, Marion Barber, rest in peace. Those guys did not know what it was to go out of bounds. Yeah. And their shelf lives were, it was like they fizzled out. Like other backs, like
who was the guy who played? Who was the Cowboys?
Marion Barber.
Oh, that is the guy. Okay,
that's him.
Yeah, I think that year he had like 425 carries or 450. Yeah. I mean, it was like a ridiculous number of carries he had that year. And they.
Oh, you may be talking about DeMarco Murray.
That's it.
That's a Murray. Yeah. He had that one year.
He didn't produce like that afterward. No.
Yeah, he had like 425 or 450 carries or
Man,
something
that
like
boy
that.
was
Yeah, had
wild.
like 1900 yards, and he
Yeah.
was done. He got a little bit of money, and he couldn't play
He
anymore.
was done.
What I always used to joke. I remember it was the year before. I want to say Aaron Rodgers was out. We threw the ball too much, and you just see a picture of him slamming his helmet down, and it was like, "Oh, you want the rock? Or we're gonna give it to you." And it's just like they just fed him the rock, and what it really was by default, it was hiding a bad defense. The defense was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, you got to balance it. I mean, going back to Houston again, when they came out with that run and shoot, with Warren Moon and that offense back in the day, I mean, it was exciting to watch. But the problem is their defense was gassed by the fourth quarter because they constantly, you score so quick, you put your defense out there for like 35 minutes a game. So
that was my favorite Oilers team. Yeah, well, Warren Moon, Haywood Jeffries.
And then they had Jerry Glanville. I think he was the wasn't he the coach back then? I think it was Jerry Glanville. Was it?
Was Jerry Glanville? I think he was coaching them, but I'm trying to no, it wasn't, not during, he had his time. It was somebody
Houston,
else.
then he went to Atlanta, but I thought it was
yeah. I can't remember the head coach at that time. Ernest Givens, another one of the receivers.
Yep.
Yeah, that running shoot, man, that and then it happens, that team was deadly, and unfortunately, only thing they was remembered for is giving up the biggest comeback in NFL history.
Exactly, because like I said,
and then unfortunately that was broken this past weekend with the Vikings. So but that offense was, and unfortunately with that whole thing, that Warren Moon was already in his mid 30s.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't let him be quarterback.
Right.
Who knows what type of numbers he would have posted in the NFL if he would have came straight out of Washington State?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Washington State. But you know what's crazy about that? I had heard from a lot of different people, because over time people retell the same stories, or they drop tidbits about new information. And I was younger when it happened. It was rumored that that Cowboys did not really want to see that Oilers team. I was heard that it was like that's something that they really couldn't really match up with them. And that offense was deadly, man. And they have that lead, and then it gets blown, and then they smoke the Bills. But I'll say this, and Shawnee can attest to it, or maybe he disagree with it. The love that the city of Houston has for that Oilers team, I'm not usually a guy that I'm pro over college, but the fracture that caused by how loved that team was, and with them moving, that fracture as to why some people will not root for the Texans. Some people call it treasonous with the Dallas and Houston beef. They root for the Cowboys. Some Houstonians root for the Cowboys. Some root for. I've seen a few Eagles fans, and I know a lot of them because of the black quarterback lineage. But it's just one of those deals to where it's like it's so fractured. Now, some people, I've seen people still with the 0-2 jersey. And I'm like, hey, bro, you're an OG Texas. you for real. Like, you've been through the mud. But then, like, I know some of it. I don't know how much of it. They got a thrill. Their first ever game, Sunday Night Football, and they beat the Cowboys. That's still probably, it's just not the best thing. If you're not out there top 10 moments, probably at number 10, might be that game. And it's just, that just fractured the city so much. And then this Deshaun Watson situation, which is leading into our black quarterback discussion, but it's just it fractured them so much, and I sat there and talked with people, and it was just like, y'all really, you root for this, or and then the people that moved from Katrina, from New Orleans, or people already with the proximity, and so they root for the Saints, and it's a real fractured fan base. But as much as Texans love football, the Texans in general, not people root for the Texans, if they can get some more success, it'll grow like wildfire again, and they'll get the bandwagon people, because a good percentage of your fan base is bandwagon people, because they just jump on when it's winning. So let
me ask you guys, speaking of Texas, since you guys are from there, so on the collegiate level, like who is still considered like the top? Is it UT or is it SMU? Like who is like really, if you don't rank like the Texas programs, who's really is there a statewide favorite or is it regional?
TCU is the top dog right now because they're in the
TCU,
college
yeah,
playoff.
obviously,
You know,
yeah.
Fort Worth stand up. You know, but recruiting sexy wise, the sexy team is Texas. A&M is struggling. A&M is because I'm not gonna lie, I'm from Fort Worth, born and raised, but you saw Texas on television. TCU right here in the city, they're not as televised, and they wasn't as the high profile program. And by the time I started watching, Texas and TCU were different conferences. Like right when I started watching college ball, the Southwest Conference broke up. And so I did not know anything of the Southwest Conference. All I knew was I rooted for TCU. They had the days with LaDainian Tomlinson. Those were great times. Right. But I rooted hardcore for Texas. But A&M, they're still in the mix. They need a good season in a worse way.
A&M in the mix in the
now, what about Baylor? Baylor, they were kind of in. I know when they had 3 for a minute, they were kind of in the mix for.
Baylor is in the mix because the thing about it, the state belongs to the Longhorns if they will start winning. But the problem is they're not winning, so other teams are just like, oh, we gonna get the spotlight now because y'all not doing anything. If the Longhorns start winning, all you'll see is Longhorns just everywhere. Right. They own the state, but they not winning right now, so nobody think about them. Yeah, well, A&M is in Houston. Right. So they got the backing of Houston since they're so close to Houston. And with Baylor being in Waco, you know, the Longhorns are in Austin, so they got some noise, even though they're not as big as a city as Houston and Dallas. But since Baylor's in Waco, they was getting some shine, especially when RG3 was there, and then the era happened until all that happened. Now, who knows where they'd be right now if Art Browse was still coaching there and all that mess. But they was on the up and up.
That's the thing. It's almost Texas shooting themselves in the foot because I go back to the Pony Express, 1980, 82.
Now that was Dallas thing. That was Dallas.
But I'm saying, but that you want to talk about must-see TV on a Saturday afternoon. We're seeing SMU with Craig James and Eric Dickerson. That was as good as it got.
That. What I'll say is, my daddy told me all about that. Like, it didn't do justice until I heard it. But when I saw the Pony Excess 30 for 30, which I will say is probably up there in the top 5, I can watch it, and I was just like, bro, they really spending this money. I heard the rumors about the car, but I was like, Daddy, that was true. He was like, yes, son. I was like, I know you told me, but I'm in an era where I got a phone. I gotta, I need to see it. But to see that era and everything they did, it was crazy. Yeah. And that was absolutely nuts that they could be that good. And it also, the death penalty, that was cruel.
Yeah, that was cruel. Was hard.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, it was, I know a lot of teams benefited from that. Because they probably started the breakup of the Southwest Conference because they were such a stronghold. That was amazing what they were able to do and just getting guys like they said, they were getting guys. I've never been there, but I think I like it. They were paying. That was wild. Yeah.
No, that was a time they had the national spotlight. Like they were like that team. Yeah. Okay. They were slated. They could have been national champions. I mean, they were really that they were that good. And then you didn't see that again until the mid 2000s. And that's actually when I became a Texas Longhorn fan because I love Vince Young. And to me, I still think one of the greatest games ever was that USC title game. That was amazing. That was it. So I
back-to-back Rose Bowls. Back-to-back Rose Bowls. That was amazing.
I got a Longhorns jersey now, but I became a fan of them just in watching that. So Texas has had those times when they've captured the football world, and unfortunately, like I said, it didn't left after Mac Jones left or whatnot. Yeah. I mean, they were always starting to fade off after with Mac, but but they've never been able to resurrect that.
It all went downhill when Colt McCoy, goddamn Marcel Darius, man, goddamn Marcel Darius, bro, and they had never give you the credit. It's like, bro, we had the better court, and that was when they literally were give it to the running back, quarterback just it was like the Ravens. I heard Ray Lewis tell the quarterback, just don't turn it over. What's going on, bro? Just don't turn it. That's the kind of defense they had, and that's the kind of running game they had. Whereas we had like Jordan Shipley, Colt McCoy slinging it around. I think we still had Jermichael Finley. I mean, we had guys to go, and it was just like we never got to see it. But I think what'll help A&M, and they won't admit it, Texas being back in the SEC. I remember my Fridays day after Thanksgiving used to be spent with Mom was gonna tell us to put the Christmas lights up, but we about to go watch this Texas A&M, and me and Daddy he was gonna let me slack. We was gonna, she was gonna be at work or do whatever. We was gonna be eating leftovers, putting up lights, watching that game, and it was just like that love for Texas started there. I was like, we gotta beat them because, and true enough, we had won so much. The biggest rival to Texas is Oklahoma, because I still see Quentin Griffin in the end zone. That hurt. That actually, you know what? This 49-0, that helped me get over that. I'm not even gonna lie. Seeing them lose, I watched every minute of that game. Because I've never seen Oklahoma lose I've never known them to lose like that. Now next year, it's gonna be on. There might be some fights, but to seeing that A&M and them Texas, and then the fact that Justin Tucker hit the game winner in Kyle Field. So it's like, it's cool that you got to play the first game back in Kyle Field because we won there in 2009. So we're not tripping. Or 2010, we're not tripping. But when that comes back and Texas is rising up, they're going to be able to eat off that plate because it's like whoever Texas doesn't get, A&M was trying to get anyway. So they'll get them, and it'll be really good for the rivalry. It'll be good for the state because it sucks to see Texas playing a rotating list of teams, and then you see the Iron Bowl, you see Ohio State, Michigan, you see, the Civil War up in the Oregon teams. You see, when it used to be UCLA and USC playing that weekend. Or actually, I think they played Notre Dame. But all those games, they deserve to be up there. But it's just like you gotta be in the same conference. But I can't wait for it. But you know what, Johnny, I wanted to start it off with this. You said, and we transitioned, you said, is the luster of the black quarterback leaving? And you know what I wanted to highlight? And I've been looking for his name because he's so anonymous. Do you know who Josh Johnson is?
The dude played on damn near every team in the NFL.
And that is it. And as far as luster, I'm counting the jerseys because it took me until halfway through the show to find because I kept thinking.
He went to Kansas State.
Huh?
Kansas State.
No, San Diego State. I think
Josh Johnson, Kansas State? Oh, San Diego?
Joshua Johnson. I think he went to San Diego State, and he started his career in 2009. And he was one of those guys that you heard people like. Gruden was still there, but he's played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. And my thing about, I want the luster of the black quarterback to be gone. I want it to be Josh Johnson's. He knows the quarterback position well enough that he played consistently from 2009 to 2018. Let me see, he played 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He didn't play from 14 to 18. Played again in 18, 19, and 20. He didn't play. Then he came back and played in 21, and then he played this year in 22. He's a guy that knows the playbook well enough. You can call him up and it's like, hey, in case of emergency, he knows plays well enough. I would love to see more of him. I would love to see where his career is going. Jacoby Brissett. I would love for it to be a normal that a black guy gets to be a quarterback like that and just be that. Because a guy that I thought, me and my friends used to make jokes that we thought that Jack Del Rio just really rocked with brothers like that. But what the thing, because he always had a black backup in Jacksonville. But what the deal was, and in a place like Jacksonville, how it gets racially, if you don't have a black backup, the white quarterback gets, man, maybe we could put him in. And I've heard that from Bomani Jones about what was going on in Carolina with, what was it, the quarterback they had after Cam Newton was like, maybe we should give him a shot. And it's like, this guy's a bum. He's a backup. Cam Newton is a first overall pick. And we have to get to that place to where the luster is gone. You're not calling him just an athlete. He can talk. He can do it with his mind. And I think that's the point where we need to be. I want more Josh Johnsons. I want where it's like, I mean, the league is 70% black, and if the black quarterbacks are good, if a quarter of the league quarterbacks are black, why shouldn't at least a quarter of them, be backups as well? Like, they can get the job done mentally and process. Because as far as speaking of mentally and minds, a quarterback position, and I heard this from the guy that used to work at ESPN, it's a sweet job because you can go to the bar and tell the chicks, I'm a quarterback. But then on Sunday, they might not see you play, but you also not getting your head bashed in. So you can keep getting checks. Like, what was it, Hasselbeck? He's getting all those checks. Tim? He's getting all those checks, and then he got all those checks, and then he went to ESPN. Because you know the game. And I would love to see more Josh Johnsons. Hell, Gerard Johnson, the big guy from A&M, that used to be, he's sprinkled in as a quarterback spot here and there. But that's what I would like to see. I would also like to see, I'm going to say something good about my rival. I would like to see guys like Jalen Hurts have to be able to run less and just rely more on the arm, because that's why I think he has an AC joint injury. You run more, you end up like the running back. Lamar is hurt right now. You run more, you get injured.
That's basically what I guess got me thinking about that particular topic. I know we know like the history of the black quarterback because but excluding that piece now, and it's not even, and I'll get to them when we get there, but it's not 100% just black quarterbacks, but a lot of the more successful black quarterbacks in the league tend to be very athletic. They can throw and run. But the thing that had me thinking was, okay, yes, they could throw and run, but a lot of times their careers are shorter because they get more exposed to hits.
Damn new.
So you'll get, they'll play hella good and then they'll get paid. But then next thing you know, sooner or later their careers start going on the downside because now their hits starting to add up. And then two, nobody really hasn't won with that particular style, a ring of that style. See, Mahomes is like Aaron Rodgers. They are pocket passers, but they can run. But it's not like they just always seek run. They just like, if there's an alley where they will take it and they will gas you. And then they'll always take an angle right to go out of bounds. And then as soon as they get by that marker or by the sideline, they'll stick that football out for an extra yard on their way out of bounds. So they're almost like Russell Wilson in the same boat. Even Deshaun Watson, like that scrambler / runner. But with like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, who both of them are injured. Lamar is more nagging, but still it's starting to, it's starting to come up. Now, the one who is like Cam Newton is Josh Allen. Now that style, yes, he has a hell of an arm.
Good point.
But this dude, he's seeking contact. I'm like, nah, dude, you can't do that. But he's an outlier just for this particular topic, because you get these athletic quarterbacks, and yes, they're doing damage while they're on the field. But one is a lot of time it's more in the regular season, and for whatever reason, it's not being led to rings. The dudes who still being led to rings are almost traditional pocket. Yeah, they got a little bit more mobility, but they winning more.
I'm gonna address it because Daryl Jones brought two good comments. What I'll say is, you right. The Rich Rodriguez, he doesn't get his credit because the flame out of Michigan and Chip Kelly, they did install those offenses to get those athletic guys because they made them pro athletes. But at that time, I think the school of thought was they playing quarterback now, but they ain't gonna play it at the next level. But as far as promoted, they don't promote the quarterbacks. You're wrong. Do you not remember the Michael Vick Experience commercials? My senior pictures are in Michael Vick jerseys. I had so many, I gave my mama one, and we both wore Vick jerseys in my senior pictures. Love Michael Vick. Love his documentary, by the way, and that he brought it full circle and got his life together. The problem is they only promote the black quarterback like that. And I'll give a story that I heard Bomani Jones say one time. Two stories I heard him say. One time they put Teddy Bridgewater in the game and they ran a read option play. Teddy Bridgewater is a pocket passer, but you see the black skin, you thinking, and I heard Byron Leffler say, I'm not slow, I'm just the slowest black quarterback because he was a pocket passer. We have to get us, we need, and that's why a la Deion Sanders said, I saw what happened to the mobile guys. Shedeur Sanders, if you go look at his profile, he is a pocket passer. And if you look at him, he like, I want to say he hit a spin in the Celebration Bowl, which we got to get to. He hit a spin in the Celebration Bowl, and it wasn't just super fluid, but I'm like, he's a pocket passer. He's mobile enough, but if you could be like the Patrick Mahomes and them, that's going to be stand power. So now we have to get to the point where you can be as fast as Lamar, but you are also pocket-wise. And I think a lot of guys, they think they can do it over time and develop it, but when they need it, it's like, we need it now. Like, I don't like that the Ravens run it so much with Lamar. Like, I'm talking about, like, I'm playing Madden, and I'm like, this is real life. They really run quarterback sweeps with him. They run quarterback powers with him. And
the only thing I got to say about that, though, is, and the same thing with Jalen Hurts, even though them two right now are injured. You can't. It's a thin line because you don't want to make them less aggressive with running the ball, because that's what makes them special. Hell, you just saw the run that Fields did this past weekend.
Yeah.
So it just makes them special. Their running ability, because they can run like a running back. Hell, Lamar Jackson literally puts fear. The way Tyreek Hill puts fear in his secondary as a receiver is the way Lamar Jackson puts fear once he starts running. And it's a game breaker, and you don't want to take that away. But unfortunately, with that style, it comes with a heavy cost. And then add on top of that, you're just not seeing teams winning with it. It's just like it got a shelf life. It's just regular season. That's basically it. And all of a sudden, for whatever reason, once you get in the postseason, it's just like, oh, this dude who's a pocket passer just sits back and just picks them off. And it's not like they go into those games a lot of times and produce. A lot of times they don't produce like they were a couple of weeks ago in the regular season. So that's what had me thinking, like, is that black quarterback style, is it kind of losing its luster because you're just not seeing? It's like I said, it's a shelf life. You're just not seeing the success throughout a whole season, and it's not leading to rings.
But I think people will take that. I think it's all about results. So I think right now the Josh Allen experience, that to me is the most intriguing at this point. If he gets to a Super Bowl, or if he wins a Super Bowl, then this is going to be a conversation, because I definitely think that the evolution of the black quarterback has certainly changed how people go about it. I mean, we put Kenny Pickett in part because of his mobility, and so, and I think that is they've added that to the quarterback, whether it be black or white or whatever. I think that's almost like a permanent part of it, that you have to be mobile. You can't be a pocket passer.
The DNs are so fast now.
The days of the Drew Bledsoes and the statues.
That's basically done. So you have to have, or even our guy out of New Orleans, because he's not really that mobile. Winston, he's not. He's a pure pocket guy. So you really can't even count him in either. So I think that's going to be a permanent part of it. But if Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl, it's like everything is about monkey see, monkey do. So they're going to look at that template and says, okay, we need that guy to win the Super Bowl, or at least to get to a Super Bowl. So I think that's generally how these owners think. It's like, what wins? And if that style wins and gets fans into the seats, also the marketing aspect, I saw the comment earlier, I think they definitely, the NFL, I think they certainly market these guys, but I think there's a difference between marketing guys to get people in the stands and being the face of the NFL. I still think we're a long way away from that. All right. Yeah. I don't think you're going to see a black person as the face of a black quarterback as the face of the NFL probably for the next 10 years.
What about Mahomes?
Wait. A non-biracial. Let's put that caveat, because
you got the green eye.
I will say this. Sometimes the biracialist makes it a little more palatable. And like the times when I used to watch Skip Bayless on the shows he was on, he said it one time, and it's true, to be honest. He was just like, look, I'm proud that Blake Griffin is half white. And I was just like, jumping out the gym. And I was just like, that's honest. I respect that. It's like, you're proud of that. And you see Mahomes, and it's more palatable. You see who's on his arm. It's more palatable. But when you see, let's just say Cam Newton for sake, it's like, that's not as palatable. Even though it was cool when he had the cut, but when he grew the hair out, it's like, it's not, and it gets to that. But also, we've talked about it before. White coaches get the genius label. Somebody that should get a genius label, and I know that the NFL is so against defense, but it should be what's the name needs to be the next coach of the Texans, D'Amico Ryans. Talk about bringing the city back. That would
he is, because he's a former Texans. Texans, that'll be a whole different discussion. But that franchise, man, I don't know, man. You don't know what you get yourself into.
That franchise,
a lot of its ownership.
It's not San Francisco.
Houston,
it's not San Francisco.
It's deja vu, because it was the ownership that destroyed Lovey Blue. I mean, you had Bum Phillips came off of the 1980 season, still made the playoffs. I mean, I guess that 78, 79, 80 playoff team, perennial playoff teams, whatnot, always in the mix. But the owner, he didn't love the shine that Bum was getting or whatever, and so he got rid of him and just destroyed it. And again, you got this owner in with the Texans now, who
that's the difference. Now, the ownership group that got rid of him, they're still in Tennessee. And you know what? The one thing that though, being that rich and being such an asshole, they come because they have all the history. They come to Houston, and almost every time they're gonna run those retro Oiler uniforms. And I was like, that is just the biggest. That has to be the biggest just stab that you can ever see. Mandrell Jones, you really own it.
I was gonna respond to that thing, because me personally, when I'm talking about the luster, I'm not really referring to it as in terms of the face of the league. I'm just talking about as far as teams putting their team together, like the front office putting their teams together, and you got this one particular style of play that have this elite athleticism. They can throw the ball, but then you see they make all these, like, in their playbooks, have so many heavy on quarterback runs, and that style of play, and it will light up a league in the regular season, but it's not being translated as of yet. It's not translated to the postseason, in particular, all the way to a Super Bowl win. So that's the lesson. Now you're gonna be looking like, is that style of play really what we need? And Mr. Bennett, I know you're bringing up Josh Allen. Think about what Josh Allen and Cam, them boys are both 6'5" plus 250. They got. I mean, if another front office looking, that's how it should be done. You have to breed somebody first that could be like that, and because they can just take so many hits.
But how many? They're just looking for the one though. Like, if your team wins a Super Bowl, if who's never won one, they still live with that 0 for 4 in Super Bowls. If they win one, it's worth it for them.
It's a copycat league.
5 years out, you know what I mean?
But you want to mention something. We're talking about being the face of the league. Let's do this, because I heard this. Another one. I listened to a lot of Mighty Jones. He was talking about it. What's the name was drafted in 2009, won the Super Bowl last year? Matthew Stafford. Drew Brees is gone. Brady needs to be gone. Peyton's gone.
Yep.
Rodgers is on the last of the ropes. You don't have a lot of true superstar white quarterbacks. There have been misses. Zach Wilson, that looks like a bust, which I called that one, and I was like, they want to take him over Fields. You want to get the draft hype. I've never seen a guy get hyped up fast enough over a guy that was the consensus. That was the number 2 guy after Trevor Lawrence, and it was thought of, those are 2 pro quarterbacks. And you let this guy from BYU come up and jump him. Trevor Lawrence is looking like he's going to be a superstar quarterback that was white, and he's going to make it. Josh Allen has ascended to one. But if you look at it, Herbert is kind of teetering, because it's an
off year. I expected a higher elevation from the Chargers this year, but I think overall, I don't think the whole team has been playing as well as they should. But he's a rising star.
I can't say it's a slap in their face as far as it being that, because the other thing is, it's going to be tough for him to win a Super Bowl, because he's going the Cam Newton route, where it's like he doesn't really have a running back, and they gave him immense pass weapons. They didn't really give that to Cam Newton. So if you say that's a slap in the face, I understand it. But they also, he has a better line than he had. But the thing is, they're counting on him so much. It's going to be tough for him to win. because, like we just mentioned, regardless of the race, if your whole running game is he's going to run with the ball, and we know he can throw with the ball, we're going to set back and we're going to drop 7 in coverage, and we'll spy you, or we'll drop 8 in coverage, and one person will spy you, and that's going to make it hard for you to win. And now they lost the pass rusher and Von Miller, so it's going to be hard on them. I don't look at it as that. He's a guy because of the racial component. It took me a while to be a fan of him, but I let that go. And I'm like, look, this guy's a great football player. But what I say is this: it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go away. You don't think of C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young as the hyper athletic guy. You think of them as, hey man, these guys can sling the field. I think of Bryce Young as a guy that's elusive in the pocket. Everybody does this Russell. I don't like doing comps as much, but I think he's a really high-end guy. You can see some Russell Wilson in him. That play where he got out of that sack against Texas, that almost made me, that whole game made me a fan. Because I saw you breaking it down with the receivers you had last year, but you still been able to move the football with all those first-rounders gone. That's a pro quarter. Tua, I don't know if he could have done that. That's a guy that's like, I can pick on you, I can count on you. Because most of your good quarterbacks, let's just say Josh Allen, let's just say Herbert, they don't have a lot of pro guys around them. Herbert didn't have a lot of big guys or pro guys around him. Cam Newton didn't have a lot of pro guys around him. Though Matt Ryan didn't have a lot of pro guys around him at BC. Those are the guys that can make it in tough conditions. Because now I give you, everybody's a pro on this line. All these receivers are pros. We'll get you what you need. Those are the guys that make it. So I think we're getting to that point with black quarterbacks where we're going to get to that point where it's like, hey, it's going to, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. We're going to see more pocket guys. We're going to, that's just how it's going to go. You're going to see the pro style. You're going to see less running, because how dangerous would it be if we could get to where Lamar Jackson is mainly throwing the ball, only maybe like 5 rushing attempts a game. But when he does pull it, it's on a 3rd and 3 in the 4th quarter, and it's just a backbreaker, and they just go up by 10, and now you 10 with 3 minutes left, and now you're stuck. Because when they get the ball on the other end, they're going to drain the clock on you. That's something. But also, when we talk about genius labels, I got off my point. We need the offensive coordinators. Maybe you need some different variety. Maybe you need some black men. Maybe you need some Robert Salas. Maybe you need some different minds, because what's the name is about to mess up another career. What's the guy in Baltimore that was coaching with Kaepernick? Just can't change it. He can come out with it. He has a fastball. He doesn't have a secondary pitch. Whatever the OC is, that he doesn't have one. He never gets it done. He never creates the offense right. It's time
about the Ravens offensive coordinator.
The Ravens offensive coordinator. That was the same one with Colin Kaepernick. When he rose up, and it's just like, once they catch on, he doesn't have a secondary pitch. He doesn't have anything else. So.
Oh, Greg Roman.
I couldn't think. So yeah. So like, I know we got to get into go ahead and start wrapping it up. Andre, I told you that was on my mind. Man, I was in the barbershop, and I had them turn the game on. They saw me playing it, the Celebration Bowl, Jackson State and North Carolina Central. I was playing on my phone. I was like, yeah, this Jackson State. I didn't know they was on. We put the game on, and just to see that, and to see how good of a game it was, to see black college football can be this competitive, this good, and it made me get the feelings of Deion. Oh, he's leaving, but I'm like, look, the culture's still there, swag's still there, and Jackson fan state's been arrogant, gonna be arrogant until the day that they die, and I love it. I love that from them. I love that from them. But to see them lose that game, how they lost it, and the irony of the white guy dropping the ball.
I was listening to a podcast, and that game went because Jackson State was the favorite, and it was North Carolina Central State. They was the underdogs. But that the way they won the game is everything that you pretty much an underdog has to do to be a favorite. Just random stuff started going wrong with Jackson State. North Carolina kept doing. They had their selection of trick plays. It's a hell, man. Let's just go for it, man. We just go with the fake punt and some receiver type passes and whatnot. So they did. Everything that Jackson State answered. came back.
Shador is amazing. Shador is
Yeah,
amazing, by the way. Shador is, I mean, they got through for 349. North Carolina Central ran for 44 carries for 276. That's 6 a pop. I mean, which is crazy. It's like the defense.
But I heard about that. Jackson State, I think the Cowboys do something similar. They rely heavily on their defensive line. They do a lot of rotations, and they lost a lot of their D linemen. So now a lot of the linemen that was playing, they was playing a whole lot more reps and snaps than they normally do. A lot of times they rotate. That's fresh, and you can see it by their defensive performances throughout the. I think they probably was the top 5 defense in the FCS.
Yeah, no top.
But then when they lost all those dudes, so now them dudes just basically got tired, and Central just gassing them.
And I'll say this, and this y'all got it the rest of the show, man. Be ashamed if you were a quote-unquote HBCU football fan and you were rooting for Prom to lose. If you were MEAC, I understand it. Because in the Celebration Bowls, the SWAC is 1-6, and a team that I don't care for is the only team that won one, and that's Grambling State. Shout out to them. But shout out to Grambling for being the only SWAC team to win the Celebration Bowl. So that's the one thing is, Deion did leave some meat on the bone to sound like what's Joseph Randall. When he left, when he was the Cowboys starting running back, he left some meat on the bone because he had 2 Celebration Bowls. This is back-to-back years where he was, some can say out-coached, some can say just out-muscled this game. But I'll say the first year out-coached for sure. This year, I'd have to look at the X and O's, but I mean, it's still got love for the SWAC. It's gonna be a great year next year because everybody's gonna be gunning for Jackson State. But props to North Carolina Central. They need to get their credit, their flowers. They didn't get enough of it, and boy, are they boasting and saying different things like, the universities that they're close by, they have a different feel and appeal than the Alcorns. I didn't like that. I didn't like that job of jigging on that because when you get on that, and we were talking about it when the Gion show, when you dig the universities and talk about their resources and stuff too much, you got to realize these were institutions that were built from off the backs of people fresh out of slavery. So they went from absolutely not working for anything to working for very little to where they are now. So it's like, the facilities are behind it, or the schools are where they are, but you don't need to get on that. Just take your brag that you beat Deion, beat your chest, and go on about your business. But shout out to North Carolina Central for winning it. Hopefully the SWAC will win the kickoff game against the SWAC and MEAC, and hopefully whoever wins the SWAC next year, Prairie View, will go ahead and handle business next year. But that's all I got for us this weekend. I'm going to save all my Cowboys-Eagles stuff for later. I know we didn't get on that, but I'm going to save that for a later time because, hopefully Jalen Hurts, I wish he was playing because I want them fully healthy. I want to give them an L on Christmas.
Go ahead, Mr. Ben. I'll let you get your final thoughts on first before I go.
Oh, again, good show tonight. Thanks for having me on. Again, just looking forward to this weekend. I still have faith. Anything could happen. So just beat the Raiders and just kind of keep it moving. And but again, it's going to be a very eerie experience because it's bringing up all of the the history with the Steelers and whatnot. So hopefully it can be status on the game. These are the games I'm always scared of. Anytime you have any kind of ceremonial something before a game, the home team always loses. So I just hope that doesn't happen. I just hope it doesn't hapen again. But
closing Texas Stadium.
Yeah. But I agree with everything you were saying about Jackson State. And actually, I'm looking forward. I think there's a documentary that's coming out on Jackson State. I think Shannon Sharp, they kind of gave a prelude on his Club Shay Shay show. So that's going to be coming out. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that, and really looking forward to what they can do in the in the future. So so I think there's a great opportunity there, and I think he definitely changed not only just the outcome from Colorado, but just again how to market a program. I think we're already starting to see it, how the way they're going about it and how they're putting the shine on the athletes and whatnot. Now he's going to have a bigger platform at Colorado. He could definitely change again how recruiting is done. So I'm looking forward to the experiment that he's putting together. But again, if I don't see you guys again, have a great Christmas. Enjoy your holidays, however you celebrate it. Happy New Year. And again, I just appreciate just the opportunity to come on and just share my thoughts here. And you guys are doing a great job. And I just pray nothing but the best for you guys and continue to grow the platform.
Now, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate that. Before you go, Sonny, speaking of black quarterbacks, Pro Bowlers, and you can't change them anymore because they're not playing the game. Jalen Hurts, of course, was a Pro Bowler. Kirk Cousins in the NFC, and Geno Smith. Hey man, shout out to the brothers.
Oh,
Man.
they just came out. They just came out with the Pro Bowl list.
Yes,
Wow.
Geno. Yes.
I'm happy for Geno. What he
I'm
say in game one? They tried to write me off, but I didn't write back though.
Right back.
Well, we'll see. Can they still make the playoffs? They haven't been playing well as of late. Are they going to make the playoffs? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not.
because they all kind of sliding.
look,
That game against 49ers was big.
I would
Yeah.
love to see them knock off Washington for that last spot. I don't want Washington to get nothing, man. It's not.
We'll see. But I mean, I hope we can keep it up. I was really impressed early in the year, but they've been slacking off. So you don't want to go into the playoffs limping. So
Yeah, you want to play your best football at the end of the season.
Hope so.
And my thing is, my whole thing is going to be related to the Cowboys. My thing is basically, it's unfair to put it all on Dak because I know, if you watch the games, when I was playing football, I was a receiver. So I understand if the ball hits your hands, you catch it. They pay you millions of dollars as well. You catch the ball. But now it's happening, especially since Dak been back, and it's happening in pairs. Him and these interceptions. The Cowboys been able to get by because they was able to hold out in the games. A couple of games with some blowouts. The Texans was a squeaker because he put the 98-yard drive to finish the game.
Mm-hmm.
It finally bit him this past week when he had one interception was within the opponent's red zone on a bad throw. And then, of course, the one in overtime where it bounced off of Noah Brown's body, arms, hands, whatever you want to call it. He should have caught that ball. And I don't blame Dak for the ball placement of it. But now it's just happening so much. I'm like, dude, this got to be fixed. There's so many you can hear about saying the miscommunications. Because that was his interceptions when he first came back. Miscommunication with a receiver. They looking at the defense, they going straight while he expecting them to settle. And so I'm like, okay, now y'all doing this too much, and it cost y'all the game this time.
Yeah.
This has to be fixed before the playoffs, or it's gonna be another one and done. Pink, what's up, man?
Appreciate you, bro. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they Bills, but I think with the luster, I think that Jalen Hurts is a big part of what they do. And if he's not playing, the threat of being able to pull it and run the ball, I don't think it's going to be able to have that same luster of running the ball. Because somebody was talking about it. When the Cowboys came back and made it 2017 in that earlier matchup, they ran the ball 10 straight times. And a lot of that was Jalen Hurts. The threat of what he does.
It was one play in particular.
Yeah. But you know who also made the Pro Bowl? And this is going to set Dallas on fire. Tony Pollard.
Ooh. Congratulations to him, but I think if people still trying to go, they trying to do the whole Pollard and Zeke. That thing I think has already been settled. They a hell of a combo because you don't want to give Pollard. That's actually what happened to Zeke. They start putting the ball in his hands too much, and you can kind of see it take his toll. But the way they using them now, they get about between 30 carries between the two of them. Leave that alone. Pollard don't get a lot of carries. He's not like a 30 carry back. He is for a while with the Cowboys, his career high.
And I think he can be, but it's like, why do it if I got another guy right here?
Exactly. Save his body, man. Let him. People like Pollard because of his explosiveness and his speed. You gonna keep him giving the ball, it's gonna get 8 away from him. So let Zeke take them bigger pounding. Pollard is coming, his blocking skills are improving. He's still not Zeke. Because before, you had to take Pollard. That was the main reason why he was on the field. He would get that kill. He couldn't pick up a blitz. That's improving a little bit, but yeah, it should be a good game this weekend. I didn't like the fact that I felt like they overlooked Jacksonville, or maybe it was between the fans and the media because everybody kept pointing that.
The fans and media did. And I'll say what the team did is the attrition at cornerback caught up, and then just
that is big.
And then the offense we're kind of getting full sacks or sometimes on the quarterback. They're not getting the sacks, but what they are getting is, and Dad gets the blame for the pick. The $40 million the guy has to take it. He's getting hit when he's throwing this ball because Terrence still being out is hurting. Now, they got to stop the rotation stuff. Jason Peters need to be on the sideline, and Tyron Smith, he made it back. He's medical marvel. He needs to be out there 100% of the snaps, and we need to roll with it like that. When he got in the game, we did see some slippage, man. We saw some slippage. We did.
Hey guys, I'm about to roll off. Again, enjoy your holidays again. Hey, just real quick, I don't know if you guys have a chance to talk about if you had one game, you want Dak or you want Kirk Cousins? I'll leave it at
that. Kirk Cousins.
All right, appreciate it, Mr. Bennett. Yeah, brothers.
Man,
he keep coming in the closing time. I see.
Right when we close the time, we trying.
Well, go ahead and say what you got to say.
What needs to be said, brother? I mean, I know we talking about the quarterback, and I know your man crush, Sean, Lamar Jackson came up.
This was his Christmas gift, bro. He had to
terrible,
bro. Hey,
my God, it's terrible, man.
Hey, bro, congrats to your son, bro. I see they out there balling.
Thank you, baby. Thank you, man. We was down in Atlanta this weekend, so I wasn't able to do my Monday show or my Today show, of course. I was in transition of flying back, but yeah, they went out there in Georgia, man, and they did their thing, man. They did their thing, and they played against 3 top-notch type teams, so hey, they came out with the victory. Came out with the chip, so that's what it's all about, man.
I wish you would have been on the show earlier because I believe Dante brought up a point. Is he playing AAU ball?
No. It's high school ball.
High school, because we was talking about how players' bodies, in particular in football, and you see it in basketball, how they being overexposed. And you know, with basketball players, they playing so many games nowadays. Now it's like I would have been like to hear your opinions about how, you know, some players, because Dante brought up a point with a 9-year-old having an ACL tear. I'm like, how is that possible?
They hoping
you know, so they just getting overworked.
Too much.
I'm like, oh hell no.
Dang.
You know, usually during the off season, I play football. I play at Murray State, so I train him like he was playing football. That's why he's so built up now, compared to like some guys he's going against. Man, they like frail. That dude's built like a damn running back. You know, he's 6 foot, 180 pounds. He built like a little running back, so he could take bumps, take hits, and keep it moving. Now, of course, his freshman year, they was knocking his little ass down because he only weighed 103. Well, 105, you know, and he was about 5'6". So they was pushing his little ass around. I said, don't worry. During that COVID year, well, I don't know, during that C-19 year, when school was pretty much shut down, they was doing, you know, online, and he really couldn't go to the basketball gym. So we had to, you know, public courts. That was the only ways of training. So we trained in my backyard. I said, hey, I'm going the old school way. Don't worry. Daddy knows how to train you old school way. And that's what we did.
And then right the old school.
Hey, man, got him up. He went from 123 to 160.
Damn.
Over the summer.
Game.
He grew about 2.5 inches and about 35 pounds. That's what he did.
That Bear Bryant program.
Man, look, we was on it. I tried to get his teammates. Teammates couldn't make it through the warm-up. I said, well, y'all ain't going to make it here. If y'all can't make it to a goddamn warm-up, y'all ain't going to make it. Y'all just going to tell your mom to come pick you up. Yep. I ain't going to waste my time. I ain't gonna waste my time, all your parents' time. But let's get on Lamar, man. I know Sean want me to keep talking about this because I'm telling you, trying to get me off Lamar.
Well, I wish we could get on Lamar, but it looks like we already in overtime now, so I don't know if admin will let us get on Lamar.
Let me say this: Mandrell ain't got no damn show today. He's playing with the kids. So, hey, I'm trying to get y'all 2.5 hours, man. Don't mess it up now, Sean.
Keep working, keep working.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I'm pushing, baby. I'm trying to get y'all. I'm trying to negotiate y'all contract. I'm gonna be your agent. But nah, man. I wouldn't be surprised Baltimore let Lamar walk. Truth be told, I would not be.
Man, Lamar is Baltimore.
Don't be surprised if they don't let him walk. Because right now, what since he's been in the NFL, he hasn't played a full season without being hurt. or some type of sickness or missing games. And so they're gonna look at like, man, we can't make this investment. He plays the style of football. He's only gonna give us 8 years on a high level.
We just talked about that.
So, I tell you the difference between him and Hurt and Fields. They could stand in the pocket, throw the ball. They could read a defense, but they also got the legs. Lamar's one-dimensional to me. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. That's all it is. It's my opinion. But, we'll see. I don't know if he's going to play this week. I know that right now he's questionable. I don't see him playing. I don't see him playing this week. And they really need to win because they taking some lumps. And Cincinnati is still rolling. So
Cincinnati is picking up speed.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I can admit I was wrong on that one. I thought they was gonna take a little step back. I'll admit it. I was wrong on that one. I was 100% wrong. So I'll take that.
You thought they was gonna fold like the Rams, huh?
Hey, I always remember the Rams said F them picks, and now that pick is going to Detroit. Man, you about to make Detroit a juggernaut.
Yeah, it's coming back to haunt them. Hey,
if you look at Detroit's schedule, they play good ball.
And Detroit plays good ball.
And the thing about Detroit, man, they competitive. Even when they lose,
I love it.
Exactly.
And that's all you can ask for.
And you know what the sneaky thing about them is? The coach looked like a meathead, but you know what he did? It's a lot of brothers on that damn staff. NFL, it's a lot of brothers. From Deuce Staley. I know the first year it was the old coach with the Chargers. He was the OC, but then he left. And then was it old Aaron Glenn is the DC. And it's just like, hey man, I might be white, but hey man, look at it, man. Put them guys on. Hopefully them guys go on and get jobs. That's why I was rooting for him. I was like, when he was talking about biting kneecaps, I was like, who is this fool? I was like, but now I don't look so crazy.
They only have 2 bad losses against the Cowboys and the Patriots. And all the other losses it's within 4, maybe 5 points.
Yeah. And that
Cowboys that team is on the up.
They beat Minnesota this year. They beat Chicago and Green Bay. That's the first time they've done that in years.
That team is on the come up.
So
they went from 1-6 and what? Now they've been 6-1 since.
Hey, I'm telling you, what's the name is competing. Don't be surprised if Chicago and Detroit is who the North runs through next year, because with them picks, it's like they keep competing and that pick keep getting higher. They competing, but they losing. That pick gonna be high. If somebody might want a quarterback, I wouldn't be opposed. Now they got needs. Trade down a little bit, and it could get on. Because they overpay for that quarterback. They overpay for that quarterback.
Who you talking about? Detroit?
No, I'm talking about Chicago.
Well, the thing about it, we got our first round pick this year. We have Baltimore's second round pick.
Oh.
Of course, we traded away our second round pick for Claypool, which I'm still not impressed with. But maybe he'll need a full all season to get really equated with the offense. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I still say the Bears need to draft an offensive lineman. In as well as a wide receiver. In our first 3 picks, I need to see those 3 positions.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I take that back. It's gonna be hard to trade back if you see Will Anderson from Bama on the board. I love that kid. he can stop the run in the pass. He ain't just a one trick guy. So that's gonna be tough to turn up. And I know a lot of teams, they might leapfrog the Bears, but the fact that the Lions can get their pick, which ain't gonna be all that good right now, and they get the Rams pick. Yeah, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something to watch.
I think I'm trying to think of how the Lions, where exactly they are in the playoff hunt, because the Lions are the perfect.
I'll pull it
up. They are the perfect scenario of you wanting to play your best football at the end of the season. Forget the beginning of the season. That's the media. They will start making all these premature, things. Okay, you start off 1-6. Okay, like I just said, they've been 6-1, and they could potentially win the way they play in the next 3 games. That is not a team you want to, if they have a chance to make the playoff. That is not a team you want. I don't care what team you are. because they playing a hot ball right now.
If they make the playoffs, you know who they got to see, right? Minnesota. That's the 2 seed. Because they would make it as the last seed. Because I'm not gonna lie. I wish this was like the NBA. I wish the Cowboys could slip back and play Minnesota because that's the mark. That's the mark. That's the mark. That is that's the one thing to where I would prefer to play Philly. I would prefer to play Philly in the second round because I know them. Who is a wild card is San Francisco. I know they got the quarterback,
so
but
you think Dallas gonna get that 5th seed?
Yeah, just because everybody behind them, they got the tiebreak. They got 2 wins over the Giants, so that's kind of sold up. And then I want to say Washington, they played them at the end of the year, but if they win this week or if they win one of the next 2 weeks, that game in Washington is not gonna mean much. It's kind of gonna be because I was thinking about going and catching that game, but I was just like, because Washington don't support their team no more, so the tickets is dirt cheap, and I'm like, that's gonna be like a preseason game. I might not see nobody. I was like, I can see a preseason game for $5 here. I ain't going to go see that, man. I catch something else. I wish I could get to Tampa for that playoff game, but I'm at risk of, hey man, you go to a regular season game.
Really, that's going to be your first round, and didn't Tampa Bay already beat them in the first? First part of the year.
They did, but like Shawnee was saying, you want to be playing your best ball at the end of the year. This Tampa Bay team, I don't know. Well,
but it's one of those things. Neither one are really playing their best ball. Tampa Bay or Dallas.
Neither of them is playing their best ball. It's one of those. You gotta hope as a Cowboys fan. You gotta hope it's one of them. You get to that game, you figure it out, and then if you gotta go and play Philly, they sitting on the break. Old boy got the AC joint sprain. And then how's he gonna come out with the pressure of a playoff game coming at him? Because that is the one thing that I have been an experience of too many times. Having that bye, and then that other team won that game. Momentum may not be real, but that team just won a game, and they battle tested. You coming off of rust or Cabo? God, I hate that they did that. That will forever live in infamy in Dallas. Oh my gosh, why did you let it get out? Why did you go to Cabo of any week? That's it. The only thing worse is Odell and them in Timbs and jeans with no shirt off on the boat. That's the only thing worse. I was like, these Negroes is about to lose. They are goofy. They are goofy. And then they came out and got smacked by the Packers. And then the Packers came up and beat us. And I was like, God damn, man, that's the only team I didn't want to see that year.
It's definitely going to be the way the playoff is going to be set up, man. It's definitely going to be interesting, man. It really is.
That's what the NFL wanted. That's what the NFL wanted when they added that extra seed.
You're going to definitely get your money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I hate it that they only have one team that gets a bye.
Yeah.
But I understand.
I understand
you got another team in the thing, so you gotta set up how you got to set it up. So it's still going to be a good playoff, I think. It's going to be a dogfight for the AFC one.
I'm looking at it now.
Fight. And it's going to come all the way. I think it's going to come all the way down to week 18. It's going to come. Ain't nobody going to be able to sit players.
Nah. And they wanted it like that. That's why I don't know why they hadn't been doing that. I was thinking back about 1 year I was looking at some teams and they were playing. And I was like, why didn't they been having the division games later? Because the coach brought it on because they was just so dominant and they was just resting guys, and which hurt them in the playoffs. But I'll tell you who the mark is in the AFC. Tennessee at 7-7. That's the mark. That if you could be the 6th seed, you can beat them. And right now the 6th seed is the Chargers are the 6th seed right now. And then all that fuss about Tua is the 7th seed. I wouldn't mind seeing them play the Chiefs. I wouldn't mind that.
Well, I think Jacksonville has a chance of winning that AFC South.
Hold on.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So who do you think is going to be the number 1 seed then?
Buffalo got the number 1 seed right now, and they beat the Chiefs. So them and the Chiefs got the same record, but they got the head-to-head tiebreaker. And I don't know if Buffalo is going to lose another one, but I had to check their schedule out. I know they probably finished with it. I know they at least finished with it.
I think they got at least one conference game for sure.
Oh, they got the Bears. So they play y'all. They play the Bears. Then they got the Bengals and the Patriots. They own the Patriots right now. But that Bengals,
that Bengals are a tough out, baby.
Man,
And if they can beat the Bengals, I mean, if the Bengals could beat them,
yeah,
shit, they might stick in and get that number 2 seed.
yeah, they might. They might. That's man.
Because
You right, man.
what are they? I think they only lost 4 games right now, right?
Yeah, they 10-4. They 10-4. Yeah.
And so what? Was Buffalo 11-3?
11-3. So if they beat them,
Man,
and they beat the Chiefs,
if Cincinnati could win that game, they could take that number 1 seed.
They take the number 1
Because
seed.
they already beat Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And if you beat Buffalo head to head, you got the house for number 1 seed.
Man,
Again, it's gonna come down to week 18, brother. Hey, I
week
love
18.
it. I
love it. Don't sit nobody, and then they get to do it. I love it how they do it. If they know the teams that are playing against each other for something to play for, they play at the same time. Ain't no letdown. You play at the same time, so you got to play and just block that shit out. Now, you know somebody on the sideline, hey, such and such winning, and then, you see them come out with a little more juice. But, yeah, play them at the same time, and whoever game is not going to interfere with each other, they can play the Sunday night game. Like if it's going down to the final spot for the Bengals and the Ravens, they probably be the Sunday night game.
Hey, how I didn't get to ask y'all guys, how was that the Dallas game?
Oh man,
the Mavericks game. I'm sorry, the Mavericks game.
It was a good game. It was a good game.
That kid from Oklahoma City, he dropped 40. Him and Luka both dropped 40. I said, man, we got to see 2 40 pieces, man. Come on, man. You can't be mad. I ain't a Mavericks fan, but god damn, Luka seeing him play in person, that's a big. He whines a lot. He whines a hell of a lot.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Cold.
That's his thing. Only thing about the Mavericks, they remind me of my Rockets during the Harden era. How basically give the ball to your playmaker, and literally everybody. Rockets was, I think, a little bit worse at this, where they just stand there. But the Mavs, they do it too. They just stand there and watch Luka.
But the thing about Luka don't disappear like Harden does, though.
Man, Luka done already hit game winners.
He might not win, but he gonna bring it.
He gonna grind.
When he told you, boy, Chris Paul, he's not big enough. He's too small.
Boy,
I said, you son that man. How you get somebody? You a veteran. He ain't supposed to son you like that.
Hey, old boy got to play.
Pat him on his head.
Old boy got to get some more minutes. Christian Wood, I'm about to get shirts. Christian Wood got to get more minutes. I know they're worried about the defense. Hey man, you need buckets and you need somebody in that paint.
They said about Christian Wood, of course, it's his defense, like you brought up. But Christian Wood, the last 2 stops he had, Christian Wood never really played for a winning team.
Nah,
it was with Detroit and then with the Rockets, and they both were just they playing underwater. So now he actually playing on what was believed to be a contender. I mean, the Mavericks, I think they're currently outside the 10 seed, but he got to get, if you're gonna play with a potential winning ball club, there's some traits, some habits you got to have.
Yeah.
And right now he doesn't have that. So kid, like, hey man, just sit there. And now the season is still relatively young, so it may be different as the season progresses. Right now, you're like, hey man, you gotta. So when we was at the game. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Wood just turned to the Three Stooges in that one play and just rumbling, bumbling, ball, ended up kicking the ball out of bounds. They subbed him out, and all of a sudden you saw Wood go to the locker room, and then all of a sudden you saw who's the backup who brought
JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee went after him. So I'm like, hell, dude.
And what sucks for the Mavs is I ain't gonna lie, and you see it now. Let me see where they at in the East. The Knicks are 18-13. They done turned it around.
So the Mavs miss Jalen Brunson. Period.
They miss him, but I'm speaking from an outsider. You can replace that. If you were paying that $30 million, do you know how mad the Mavericks would be? Because they wouldn't be too far from where they are now, and they would be looking like, look, man, we paid you 30. If I'm paying you that much, everybody's gonna have different expectations. If you are getting outbid by the Knicks, more than likely you're making the right call if you let the player walk. Because when in the last 30 years have the Knicks been competent? They were overpaying a guy. They paid his daddy. I'm like, come on, man. They wanted him. He's not gonna lick when they get to the. What's gonna happen when they get against like the Warriors with them big wings out there? Jalen Brunson gonna disappear because it's a big man's game. It's hard to be, and everybody gives him crap. It's hard to be Chris Paul and be 6 foot and be that good for that long. That guy got some great skills. Jalen Brunson ain't got that in him. I mean, he a good player. And I ain't gonna lie. Get your bag, play out bag. When he started playing, I was like, oh, he gonna get his bag. I wouldn't give it to him, but he gonna get his bag. He got it. Now he's a good little player. I ain't knocking him. Because when they drafted him, I was like, Mavericks got a good draft. They got Luka and they got this Brunson kid. Because I like them 3-4 year guys. You know what they are. And that's why guys want them to stay in college. For the NBA purposes, let me see who you are. Then, because when you play 1 or 2 years, it's like, he could be this. And then who he could be that, get coaches fired, GMs fired. Because you're going off potential that might not never come. You know, you can see the Zions of the world sometimes. 1 year. I can see Kevin Durant, honestly, he always has a special place in my heart because, you know, your old man don't never think you really know nothing. And I was like, Pops, I'm telling you, this Kevin Durant is the bomb. We sat there and watched the game. He was like, Bubba, you right on this one. I was like, God damn it, Ray, you right. And I was like, yeah, he is one. But then you get the other guys. What's it, Michael Beasley? Just never, because 1 year is not enough of an evaluation period. You got to really get it right. You get, what is it, Paul George? He was taking 10th. Kawhi Leonard taking 10th around that range where it's like he got ability, but they probably took somebody that had been 2 years. It's like, oh, he oozing with athletic ability. And it's just like, man, you need a basketball player.
I used to think about that, and especially with the college players now, because a lot of them are one and done. They depend, and I think about as great as a player he has shown so far, Ja Morant's game reminds me of young Russell Westbrook. I just hope that just know because they attack the rim. Attack the rim. They're not perimeter players like that. They attack the rim. They use their athleticism to get to the rim. And Ja's making it work for him right now. Ja's making it work, but so much now in college ball, and it's like maybe it's probably one of the things that's kind of, you know, you don't hear too much. College basketball is just not the same as amongst the mainstream like it used to be because one of the players are not there long enough, so you don't really know them until maybe hopefully they make a big splash in a tournament. But so much players now, they come into the league depending so much on their athleticism, but the skill, the basic skill and technique of their game, a lot of teams or whatnot, they expecting for them to be built in the pros, you know, and like your game will progress in the pros, but a lot of time, you know, in the past, players came out of college with it was like a baseline of skill sets that you had for your position. They're not having that no more. And the thing about it is, since the league is getting younger, the league is starting to look like how college is because those are players that are coming in. You know, like it's just not the skill. Now you see them all want to take 3-pointers, and then they all. I'm just like, yeah, man. And then it's just the skill set.
But
you're starting to see the lack of skill in today's game.
But you know what happened? The guys are more skilled. They have the skill, but it's one thing to have the skills because I'll tell you this. I told my mother, she has custody of my nephew. I was like, I'm not taking him to do skills training at 5 and 6. His brother, his nephew, his uncle, they plays varsity basketball. That's your skills training. They taking him to do the skills, but can you do this against pro talent? Can you know what to do? Like I heard Gilbert Arenas one time, and he was giving honest criticism. That's why I love having you on the show. He give honest criticism to Lamar Jackson. I love him, but I had some of them same critiques. But you coming hard with him. I ain't gonna lie, with Lamar, I love him so much. I'm coming with the softball. You come with the hard. I respect it. I respect it because it's like, and I know why I come with it lighter because the media, I can't get it out of my head. Bill Polian's punk ass. And I hate to curse. He's a running back, and I was like, look how wrong you are, and whatever bum you wanted to pick is some backup somewhere on a practice squad. But like, yeah, man, like these guys you gotta know how to get it done against pro guys. These guys got pro NBA bodies, physical. They're more physical than you think, And then when they're running this style of, okay, we're going to take the 5 away and we're going to play, what do they call it? 6-7 and under league. Okay. When you play that, you got to have those guys that's willing to go get them rebounds. You got to have them guys that can switch defensively. That's tough to do all the things that you want them to do and be so young. But also, I think they see the tall guy and you think automatically he's supposed to be able to get it done in the post. But you've been training him since he was, would you probably start to get tall around 4th, 5th grade. They've been having him on the outside on the perimeter. So you want the perfect player. Like they're gonna do that with Victor Wembanyama. They love them step back threes from the 7-3 guy, but they're gonna be like, you need to get in the post. Well, if he's in the post, he's a slender guy. He's gonna be a face-up post player. Like Anthony Davis, when he faces you up, it's over. Well, now Anthony Davis has this grown man body, and he can bang a little bit more, but you're not gonna get guys banging like they used to in the previous era. You can't have the guy that's banging in the post like Shaq, shooting 40% from 3. And I love him. There's not a lot of Joel Embiids out there, man. Or there's only one Nikola Jokic. There's only one of them guys, and you got 2 of them. Everybody else is gonna be rim defender, what they call them, rim runners, rolling to the hoop. So it's like we as fans, like I told a guy all the time, I was like, okay, so you complaining about how the league is. It's like this, it's like that. And I saw Colin Cowherd do this one day. Look at the teams from the era that we love. Now look at the teams now. It's still the same amount of teams that can win the championship. It's still the same amount. It's just that there's so many skilled players. There's gonna be some skilled players that were getting eliminated. Like look at that Hawks team that Jordan eliminated. Mookie Blaylock, Mutombo, Steve Smith, some ballers. Sit their ass home. And that's what happens. Like that's just what happens. Like the Warriors, cold as Luke is, send his ass packing. You got, because no matter what they say, it's a veteran league when it gets to the playoffs. Because them old vets, them knees start to get feeling good. Well, Shaq used to BS in the regular season. Everybody talking about the regular season matters. Man, Shaq, that's why Kobe used to get into it. He used to be out of shape come March, because that's when I found out his birthday was in March. He dropped 60 on the Clippers because they didn't want to give him enough tickets. And that's also the time when he starts to play. So we have to deal with that as a league. But even if those guys were playing 70% of what they could play, shit, I was entertained when I went to that game live.
Yeah,
I'm seeing dunks, I'm seeing threes. So we complaining a lot about the guys, and I know you missed it. These guys are coming into the league and they're overworked, so they're getting them. Like they say, they got guys got a 42-inch vert. He can't stand up on one knee. All that cartilage damage. You working them like they pros, and that's why you get a guy like, what's his name? Doc Rivers' son. He didn't grow up poor. He didn't grow up mega rich, but he didn't need the money from the league. But I've been playing a pro schedule since I was 15. Let me go to the pros. Let me go get some M's, and let me do my own thing. That's why you don't get guys staying. Now, some guys with NIL, I think if you're a 3-4, like what's the guy, Baycott from North Carolina. Yeah, stay. Don't go. Get that NIL money, because when you get to the pros, you're going to be a backup. You're going to be between the G League. That ain't no fun. Be the man in North Carolina. And now I think that, but I do think if you say, hey, we have a pro option, you can come to the pros. The guys we say, hey, you're going to get selected, you can go pro. But when you go pro, you're going to play a lot in this G League. Unless and it's not a bunch of LeBrons out there, you're going to play in these G League. If you're not a lot of Lucas, you're gonna play in the G League and you're gonna get it going. Because the one thing that's getting on my patriotism, everybody wants to say, oh man, these international games catching up. They got the superstars. But then when I go back and look at the MVPs, besides Giannis, all the finals MVPs right here. When you go back and look at it, I hate to give anything credit to the Celtics. Jason Tatum is that's a top 10, top 5 player. You look at them, it's USA. Like they say, oh, they put who gonna guard who. If they did the All-Star game, USA versus the world, I was like, bro, y'all would see an ass kicking. Like, first of all, I get to have Kevin Durant and LeBron on the same team. Stop it. LeBron, you running point. Okay, Luka guarding. Luka can't got no defense. Neither does LeBron. At this point, neither does LeBron. That last bucket, Jason Tatum was like, oh, I got him.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. How'd your fantasy football team do this weekend? Oh,
Man,
damn.
mine didn't make the playoffs, man.
Okay.
My thing is
Damn.
my league is too big. My league is too big, and I only because 14 teams are in our league. So there's really no, once I was doing okay, but the Tua injury hurt me bad because I got Jalen Waddle, and then the other people came up on me. But yeah, I mean, the waiver wire is just super slim, super slim. You got to get lucky. So all you got to do is just keep working trades, and then even at that, you're just at the mercy of the player. If they don't want to trade that dude, you ain't gonna get him. So yeah, I didn't make the playoffs as long as I'm not finishing last. And last year, I finished the regular season with the best record, but was out the first round because I think I forgot what player didn't perform, and I lost. I think because of his bad performance.
Dang.
So it's just that one of them years.
Yeah, hey, if it's 12 teams, if it's more than 12 teams, I don't. No.
I'm gonna have to do that because it used to be 12, but then all of a sudden they added 2. I'm like, okay, man. Now it's just it's a coin toss now. It's just you guessing. You got instead of it's a little bit luck already in fantasy football because of the injury thing, but now it's just too much luck because it's just too much teams.
You want the league down, and if you're trying to do it for the money, then raise the entry price. To me, raise the entry price, keep it the maximum's 12, raise the entry price, whatever it is. If it's 50 or 100, make it 150, make it 200, whatever the case may be, and just go with the 12 teams and best man win. But when you go, like you said, 14, hell no. I mean, how many players y'all got on your roster? What, 15, 18?
We have a full set plus IDPs. So we have, we could do linebackers and stuff. So that kind of helps to balance it out. But we have the flex. We don't have an offensive player, but we do have a flex with 3 IDP slots. And yeah, it's just one injury. You may can survive with one injury because you can do trades and stuff, but if it's like a receiver and their quarterback, like what happened to me, oh hell. And then everybody, you're gonna have a position on your roster that's just weak. Mine was running back because everybody was taking him. By the time he came to me, hell, let me pick up the receiver. I had to pick Devontae Adams. Everybody, the running backs just went off by the time it got to me. I'm like, well, hell, I ain't got nobody. By the time it got to me, I had to pick up Samaje Perine. so I was like, well, hell, man.
Hey,
I had no choice.
That's it.
Hey, you know what? I got beat by the last 2 years. The receiver position is key. You so focused on running back, that's killed me. Like my buddy of mine, that he beat me back-to-back years. Same guy, my homie. He receivers, and I was like, receivers is really the way because you can get more of them. And so I went receiver heavy. When I saw that Justin Jefferson went for 30 points for me, I was like, I got this. Nah, man. Stevenson from the Patriots went for 172 on my back. Oh man, Justin Fields, that was a late pickup I got. He kept holding it down. He gave me 23, but I mean, he just outgunned me. Waddle got me. He had Lockett. The defense, it just was one of them bad breaks. Like I got in by the skin of my teeth. I wasn't supposed to get in. I got in barely, and it just happens. But I finished in the finals last 2 years, so it's cool. Then in another league I'm in, I got knocked off late. And it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. I'm in fantasy hoops, 7-2. Fantasy don't stop, man.
I can't do fantasy hoops, man.
I tried fantasy basketball 1 year, man. I said they play too many games.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. Within a week, you get playing about 3 or 4 games. One team play about 3 or 4 games, and you just can't keep. I said, man, I ain't got time for that.
That's why I don't know how people play fantasy baseball. Yeah. I'm like, that's even worse.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I can only do it once a week with football, man. Once a week. I'm
having a pretty good season. All my teams are still in the playoff. Now, unfortunately, with Jalen Hurts getting hurt. Man, I'm hurting right now. I got in one league, I got Justin Fields as my backup quarterback to play, but in another league, I got to use your boy Jared Goff, and I'm nervous.
Yeah,
He been playing better though.
I know, but I'm still nervous because Jalen Hurts, he's averaging about 28 points for me.
Yeah, man.
Our running backs may not have a good day. Guess what? Jalen Hurts gonna make up for it.
Jalen Hurts gonna throw for 170, rush for 3 TDs, and throw for 1. And it's just like, man.
Speaking of that, you know who would be a good pickup if he's still available? Trevor Lawrence. I think they play the Titans this week.
No,
he's been playing hot. He's been playing hot.
They don't play the Titans this week. They play Thursday night. They play the Jets.
I would still take Lawrence because he's hot. He's hot.
But you know something?
But the Jets do got a good defense though.
Players on Thursday night, man. I have bad luck with it every time I do it. Every time I do it. I
was thinking Amazon must be pissed because they're like, man, we paid all this money for these Thursday games, and so far, man, these boys, them boys. I know it's a challenge. They got to sit up there and call them games because them games just be lopsided, man.
He's so rich, he gonna quit. And I ain't gonna lie, I balance it with the family because my wife just looked in here because I know they're trying to watch Christmas movies. We running through the Christmas movies. We watch all the Black Christmas movies. Except, man, Friday after next is I can't watch that with the kids, but it's getting spin too. But on Thursday nights lately, we just been watching movies, man. The game's been so bad. I'm a football addict. I've been like, look, I know where I pick my battles. I ain't about to get you mad at me and not watch something over some bad football. Oh, hell no. I ain't watching that. It's been bad. I look at the matchup, and if it ain't nobody interesting, they caught a bad draw. But you know what? It's all about who you know and the associations. Last year, guess who had the connections? Fox. Fox didn't have no goddamn bad games. They had very few bad games. They had
last year we had some good Thursday games.
They had matchups, and they probably what they have to go to is don't have the Thursday night games to start the year off. Or if you have them, I don't know. Maybe you use one of the teams that played in the kickoff game. But man, you got to start getting these Thursday night games off of buys. Let these guys get their body fully rested because what you do is you get a guy with an injury that could probably take a couple of days to heal till Sunday. But if I got to play on Thursday, most guys not gonna practice that Thursday. You're not gonna play. So if you come out here, you got a guy. Well, that star not playing. Now you look like the NBA, but you only got 17 of these bad boys. You got time for load management.
If they're not coming off a bye, about to go into a bye, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either way, it sounds like it sounds like it'd be a good idea. Either coming off a bye or about to go into a bye, like you said, so you give the body a little extra rest. I don't know, but let me ask you this one question: what's your favorite Christmas movie? Now, mine is The Christmas Story. That's my favorite Christmas movie growing up.
Yeah, and I give my answer before
don't say Die Hard now. We ain't gonna count Die Hard.
No, I was gonna get mine before I gotta jump off with a little one I can hear in the background now. You know what? I'm not a big Christmas movie person. I mean, I watch them. I guess Home Alone, and it's not something I always watch, but I guess Home Alone.
That's one of my tops. Home Alone. You remember the recorder that he had in the 2? Man, I got that for Christmas. That was one of my top 5 Christmas gifts. Man, I was over there doing it didn't work like the movie, but I was over there doing it. I love Home Alone. Man, I tied my brother up one time, like off the inspiration of Home Alone. He got my ass back, man. He tied me up with some rope. He tied me up to this table. It took me 3 hours to get out of that, man. I was pissed. I caught him up when he was asleep with the Ghostbuster pole. He fell out the bed. Watching goddamn Kevin McAllister, man. Hey man, you was a kid. We was kids. You was either outside. If you was inside, I was into some bullshit. But I say for me, man, the best man holiday pulls on my heartstrings. I pull on my
I
heart.
forgot about the best man. I forgot about that. That was a
really
good one
between
too.
now and this Christmas. It's really between. I like watching Black holiday movies because it's like, look, man, give me something that's more relatable to me. I love me some Home Alone, but goddamn it, if I was talking like Kevin McAllister, no, there wouldn't have been a sequel. It wouldn't have been a nothing. I'm gonna go with Best Man Holiday.
I agree with that, and I like that one. But fellas, just appreciate y'all. Good show and whatnot. But I'm gonna have to jump on up off of here because before World War V or whatever World War gonna be in this household, this little one running around. So
yeah.
Hey man, go ahead and take care of your business. Go ahead and take care of your business.
I'll catch y'all on the next side, y'all.
All right.
All right, big brother.
Peace, everybody.
All right, now.
Man, that's so yours is. You say yours is Christmas Story?
Yeah, the Christmas Story, man.
I have never seen it. I've seen it all the time, always
Is
on.
that right?
I've never seen it. I'm gonna have to sit down and just watch it because I heard they was talking about it in my work chat. They was like Christmas Story. They was like they got a sequel. I was like, man, I ain't never seen that.
Yeah,
I was like, I never seen it.
Hey, it's good. It's a lot of dry humor in it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dry humor in it. So, but it's funny. It's funny. It can hold its own. But you know, that's one of my favorites. And of course I like Elf. So I like
Oh man. Hey, the Elf, that's a good one.
Jenny says she likes the leg lamp. Yeah. Hey, it's how funny it is. I got the leg lamp as an ornament. So I hang it up on the tree every year, the leg lamp. But you know, you know, Tay, when you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. When you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Man, what Christmas songs do you play? Because my wife, it's one that she hates me for play. I play it every year. She gets mad, and that's
mine's always go to Silent Night by the Temptations.
Yeah, I'm always run that one. That one's always gonna get spin. You know, I'm gonna play the Mariah Carey. Like my daughter, she's about to be 3. And so she wants to dance with me when we play that one. She loves it. Yeah. And then like we got Alexa, so she'd be like, again. I'll be like, we only did it twice. It only works one time. The cuteness only worked one time. I can't let you keep doing it. Then I'm gonna push over. But one I'm gonna always play the Run DMC, the Christmas song. I always run that one, Christmas in Hollis. But one that my wife always just smacks her lips. I'm gonna play Death Row Christmas. I'm gonna play that. I gotta hear Nate Dogg on that hook, man. Santa Claus gotta come to the ghetto, man. I gotta hear it. I heard it in the car the other day. I heard it at the end. I said, that's cool. Alexa gonna play the whole song for me. I need to hear Snoop Dogg talk about getting a sack of you know what for Christmas and all. I need to hear all of that. I need to hear some hip hop at Christmas. And
well, I tell you, I like the Boys and Men's Christmas album.
Man, oh yeah. Yeah, my brother was big in the R&B. We used to run that one.
That's pretty good for me. But yeah, mainly, man, it's gonna be the Temptations Silent Night. You know, that's always gonna be the go-to move as far as Christmas songs. Yeah, definitely gonna be the go-to move for me. So
I gotta hear it. I had a mix. I need to make another mix because I had the one with the TLC one on the sleigh ride. I had a good little mix in there, and it was really good to balance it out. But what was it? The one, you know, the Earth, the Kid, Santa Baby, all of that. It had all of that on there. But yeah, man, I'm not probably gonna be able to be on next week because I think my brother got his basketball. The big basketball tournament here is the Whataburger tournament, and that's like, man, they done dropped a little bit in the rankings. But if you win in that Whataburger tournament, that's that clout that you've been looking for. Because I want to say that's the last tournament because now it's all district play. So you got to go and beat up on your district. So, you know, he banged his knee up a little bit, but he good. But like you said about banging him as a football player, he was trained. My brother trained as a football player. And he used to be real scrawny. I looked at him on the court. I was like, man, your shoulders that came out. I said, man, you a big dog now. Like, he's an undersized. He's really supposed to be a guard wing who plays in the post. But I love the aggressiveness. He's always close to getting a 10. I love it. It's the football aggressiveness in a basketball player because when you play on defense, I love it, man. I love it. Hold on, I just said I have to hear Nat King Cole every. Hey, got to, man. Look, hey, I may not like your football team, but I rock with you on that. I rock with you. Yeah, okay. See, you ain't that bad. The only thing bad about you is the Eagles fan, bro. That's the only bad thing about you, bro. But you my dog. And you know what? I know if the Cowboys lose, I'm gonna have to show my face. So I might have to cam up. If we do a show this week, I might have to cam up. I'm gonna have to cam up, win or lose, just to talk my ish.
Damn.
It's gonna be a good one because I already got the Facebook post I want to get. The Eagles gonna get an L for Christmas. I'm gonna be like, here you go, Merry Christmas. That's and you know what? That's what I'm ending the show on because that's what I want the Eagles to get an L for Christmas. I'm hoping my Lakers compete because I hate that the tickets are so high. I wanted to go see I got to see LeBron play. This is the year he's gonna break the record, so I got to go see him play. But I'm trying to sink it to when Anthony Davis is back. So I gotta catch that. But man, Hink, as always, bro, I appreciate you, brother. I know I've been busy, so I'm gonna try to get with you so I can hop back on. Because you got some spicy people to be in your group. I like that. I like that. They come with you. They was like, oh, your mic is this. They was on my ass. I like that. I appreciate that.
Hey man, you know, it's all good, baby. It's all good. Just trying to put a good product out there, man. Especially for our sports fans, man. You know, we ought to have more than one day a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sports is a beautiful thing, man. So we need it 7 days a week.
And we need more than the national guys that go, because I ain't gonna lie, they be running bits. These is our real opinions. We have real conversation. We ain't here calling Deion a sellout. We was breaking it down in a nuanced way. So, you know, we got a lot of people coming in and you know, like the What We Know pod, they was in here and doing their thing, and they represented well too. So Black Man, Merry Christmas to you. I know you're a Saints fan. I know hopefully the Saints get a win for you. I hope y'all can go on and take that division, because I would love to see the Saints and the Cowboys in the playoff game. So Merry Christmas to everybody in the network, man. Jenny, everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Much love. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays to you. You don't want to disrespect anybody and what they represent. So that's all we got. Appreciate the overtime to everybody that stuck with us, man. Appreciate you, Hank. Man, Shawnee had to cut off with the kids, but we'll holler at y'all, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody.
All right, big brother. Be safe now.
You too, man. Peace.
Yes, sir.